At least.
Oops. Hello, everybody. Pop culture curator here. Another wonderful Monday. We're going to be once again reviewing an episode of Star Trek, the animated series. And today, if I remember correctly, we're on episode number 5.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. Episode number 5, More Tribbles, More Troubles. And I wanted to note that I was reading some background material in this episode. David Gerald, the writer of the original episode and this episode,
Nice.
wanted to have this episode as part of season 3 of Star Trek, TOS. But good old our best friend Fred Freeberger refused it and turned it down because he said he didn't like the first episode.
That's right. Also, he didn't think that Star Trek should be a comedy.
Right. And we all see what he did for Star Trek on top of all the budget cuts, right?
Now, pop culture, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Was this on film or videotape?
Star Trek the animated series?
Yeah.
Animation is always on film because they have to make one frame at a time. They use a camera that has a little button, and you move a frame and then hit click, move a frame, hit click. You can't do that with videotape.
Yeah. That checks out.
Right. So if anything, if they have to have something on videotape, they'll make it on film first, and then they'll record it on video afterwards.
Well,
Hello,
and not only
son of a
that,
red
but
shirt in the chat. Sorry, go ahead.
hello, son of a red shirt. But not only that, when you watch the animation style, you can see the cells and the frames, like we've discussed on previous episodes, sort of the less than accurate perspectives or animations to it. There are cells that are just there. And you know what? I did see knees underneath a console this time, so they fixed that problem. There has been a progression. But you can even see the cells that are overlaying the backgrounds wiggling a little bit with each individual cell, like with frame.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes those cells are out of alignment, and I have an example with this episode.
Nice.
In fact, I guess I can send them to. I want to send them to Jill. I guess while the chat's going on or while the review's going on.
Yeah. Well,
or I can share my screen. I can show them on my screen either way.
Yeah, I only asked based on our conversation we had last night.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. And all that. It's a great question. And to catch everybody up on what he's talking about is Gorilla had an excellent watch party yesterday of To Kill a Mockingbird, one of my favorite books and movies. And we watched it together. And then we had a long chat afterwards. And I don't know how, but it ended up delving into film versus video. So I was kind of giving him an explanation of the differences and when video came about, the different kinds of video. And how, when you're watching something, you can tell if it's video or film. So that's what he's talking about.
Nice.
And everybody in the chat, hello. I try to address everybody and say hello to everybody in the chat. I will be monitoring. I know we get kind of busy sometimes.
Ahoy, Edge of Time.
Hello, Edge of Time. Welcome, and thank you for being here. If I am unable to respond to somebody in the chat, I will usually try to post it up on the panel so everyone can see it. So I do try to share your comments. I try not to miss anybody. And if I do, please shout at me. I deserve it, okay? But welcome to everybody on the panel. We have, I guess the order of the way you arrived. First of all, I have Gorilla from Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Hello, Gorilla.
Yeah.
Good to see you. And next we have the wonderful, talented Antiderivative Jill. How you doing, Jill?
Doing great. Thank you for having me on today.
It is my pleasure. And if you have kids making background noise, that's fine. We have no problem with that. And next we have Scotty. How are you, Scotty?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, man. This is fun.
My pleasure. Oh, it's a blast. I look forward to this every week. I look
Yeah.
forward to it every week. Usually I watch the episode right up before the stream, but I watched it actually last night because I wanted to, in case there was anything I wanted to catch it ahead of time, and I wanted to be able to think about it all night. So yeah, I can't wait. It's an excellent episode. I know some people may not be as fond of it as I am, but I'm, once again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm very partial when it comes to this show.
Oh, it's schlock. This is absolutely jangly schlock. This is just fan service.
Oh, that it is. I mean, yeah, it's definitely fan service. They knew the fans liked the Tribble.
Also, it was nice to see Koloff again.
Koloff, yes, it's the Koloff character, the same one from the Trouble with Tribbles, but
Well, and he has the same first officer too. It's dope.
He does, yes, the same two people. Like he's been chasing Cyrano Jones around all this time.
Of course.
Timeline wise, it had to be at least a year or two later after TOS, right? I mean, because that episode was what, season 2, I think, of TOS. No, season 1, right? I can't remember. I have to look it up.
What,
now.
Trouble with Tribbles? Season 2.
Trouble with Tribbles. Season 2?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that means...
Yeah, because Chekhov's there.
Right, Chekhov's... Oh, that's right, Chekhov in his hair. So that means this...
No, that was a Tribble.
That was a Tribble on top of his head.
Yeah. And, hi there, Edge of Time and Captain Time Lord.
Hail, Captain Time Lord. How you doing? Captain Time Lord had an excellent stream. Last night, I kind of woke up in the middle of the night. It was like 4:30 in the morning. And I couldn't sleep. I kind of tuned into his for a little while. I was kind of groggy, but it was funny. And I appreciate that, Captain. Does anybody have any questions or anything to say before we get to our review? I know Jill has it all queued up and ready to go.
What the F is a Tribble?
Sorry, what's that?
Well,
Think of a ball with hair.
A reproducing ball of hair up until this point.
That's always pregnant and always hungry.
Yeah.
Well, there is a living creature inside of the hair.
Like my ex.
So I'm going into this new. I did not know anything that was going to happen in this episode. I knew that there were going to be more Tribbles, and I knew that there were going to be more Troubles. But I didn't know what was going to happen. I saw animations of big Tribbles. I didn't know what that was about. So I'm going into this episode being like, uh-oh, Tribbles. And so I have a preconceived notion as to how these Tribbles are going to work. But that will change throughout this episode, which makes it interesting to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, right. They were genetically engineered to remove the reproductive portion of them, but not the high metabolism.
In this episode, right.
In this episode, but I don't know that yet.
Right, not yet. They haven't introduced it yet. But I'm glad you stopped on this frame because this introduced us to a new design of starship, which I believe I heard comes on a little later on in some of the Star Trek series. So this is a grain ship or a cargo ship.
Yeah,
I remember these
robot ships.
Robots. Yes, they're definitely robot ships.
But I do remember these from like Starship battles or Starfleet battles. First, a sort of turn-based strategic game. I don't know if these were designed by a role-playing game or if this was the first representation of these ships. But I think they look great. This is the first appearance. These are great.
First appearance, right? Yeah, they were created for this episode.
These are fantastic. These look like Starfleet ships. These look like cargo carriers for the United Federation of Planets. Way to go, guys.
They do. It's very cool.
The Starship Corps of Engineers wins again.
Right, and it looks like apparently they're automated, but they don't have a self-defense system built in, apparently.
Yes, they do a very good job with the ship design and this animation. More Tribbles, More Troubles first aired October 6, 1973. It was written by David Gerald, who wrote The Trouble with Tribbles. It was directed by Hal Sutherland. And this episode was an idea, like you said earlier, for season 3. Push aside. So here's a quote about the episode from the associate producer and story editor DC Fontana. More Tribbles, More Troubles is another episode I love from TAS, Fontana said. David Gerald brought his trademark skills in humor and action to the script, and it was a worthy sequel to The Trouble with Tribbles. We had the opportunity to bring back Stanley Adams for the voice of Cyrano Jones, and with the use of animation, we could stuff the Enterprise from the top of the saucer to the shuttle bay with Tribbles. All of them pink. And there are times when Kirk's captain's log explains everything perfectly, and so this is one of those times, so I'll read it. The captain's log, stardate 5392.4. The Enterprise has been assigned to escort 2 robot grain ships to Sherman's planet, which has been struck by crop failures and famine. The shipment of seed grain, quintrotriticale, is necessary to the survival of the colony. We are
Yeah,
breaking course.
they changed the name since the because it was Quadratriticale in
That
the original episode.
Yeah, that kind of messed me up. I thought, hey, are they misspelling this?
That's what I'm thinking because Scotty and Kirk both mispronounced it. So I'm wondering if they actually misspelled it in the script as quid instead of quad. But I don't know.
I have no. Yeah, I guess so. But I guess it's become its own grain now. We are breaking course to Sherman's planet to investigate what appears to be a Klingon battle cruiser pursuing some kind of smaller ship. Observation may confirm a rumor that the Klingons have a new weapon, type so far unknown, and so it's not in the episode, but only in the script. But the Klingon ship was named the Divisor. So that was the captain's log. It turns out that the planet that needs some grain, Sherman, was named after David's girlfriend at the time, Holly Sherman. And the Klingon ship continues to pursue a smaller ship, albeit with the worst aim possible. Seriously, all of the Klingons on the ship might have been hitting that blood wine. However, what's weird here is when Scotty tries to save the pilot of the smaller ship.
And you
I
notice
really
that
enjoy. I really
the-
enjoy that they're using the Mr. Kyle animation,
Yes,
but they
that's
keep
Mr.
using
Kyle.
Scotty. Yeah.
Yeah, the mustache, obviously. Yeah.
And also, let's not go all crazy about the Klingons having bad aim. Like, you don't know how far the shields were extending. Those explosions could have been bouncing off of an energy field.
Thank you for that. That works for me.
Okay. Uh-oh.
So, okay, so meanwhile,
We've lost a gorilla. We've lost a gorilla.
he'll be okay.
Okay.
Gorilla
Meanwhile,
should be back. He's probably having problems.
so that there's a it does finally hit. The Klingon ship does finally hit Cyrano's ship here.
Hmm. Also, I would like to say that there are a lot of inconsistencies about shields and transporters and how long it takes to blow something up before you can beam something off of it.
Yes, I agree.
That is my one thing, and it's like you have destroyed everything. But then again, it's a Saturday morning cartoon. You're just looking for action. I don't forgive it, but I kind of do. I don't know. This is where the animated series lies for me in canon. Is like, are the technical operations of the ship as important in an animated show as they are on a live action show?
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
they
it
are,
shows.
and I want to hear everything you have to say about it because it's just as important because these episodes were written as if they were live action.
Right, I
Because
think
even
the reason.
David Gerald had a problem writing this. He's like, I don't know how to write animation, and DC Fontana said, "You're writing Star Trek. Write it like if it was."
Right,
Hmm.
I think it's just. I think it's because
Oh,
it just shows that because it was written by different writers, so you'll see a few things slip through the cracks. I wanted to address
well,
this text to Captain Time Lord. It says this graphic is getting me excited for the Playmobil Enterprise. Well, congratulations, Captain. As long as you're supporting Playmobil, you're supporting New Trek. Keep buying those Playmobiles, and you'll keep getting more New Trek and New Picard.
Oh,
All right.
oh my God! Thank you, uh, Captain Time Lord. Oh, give me a
I
second here.
didn't want to say anything, but he's absolutely correct.
Okay, how about that? Is that better?
It
Yeah, we
is
hear you.
better. Can you get closer to the microphone?
And Gorilla, I know we
How
figured you
about
lost
that?
your internet. Yeah, you
Yeah,
sound
that's
great.
better.
Okay.
Gorilla, come on back on if you want, Gorilla. We figured you probably lost your connection. No problem. And I'm just joking, Captain. By the way, I'm just joking about the Playmobil.
Thank you. Thank you so much for telling me that. I didn't realize I had this other mic plugged in and it took precedence over my actual good one.
It's okay, Jill. We still heard you. We can make out what you were saying.
Yeah, but we had to try hard. But now it's making it so much easier. And thank you on behalf of the chat and the panel. Thank you.
Yes.
All communication issues have been resolved, Captain.
Aw, Gorilla's still down, but I guess he's in the chat.
So
Well, Gorilla, we'll be here if you want to come back.
So this is the explosion of Cyrano Jones, which is
Yes.
his ship. Okay, so would you like me to go through the technical difficulties of this particular space battle that culminates in this explosion? Would you like to go over it?
Go for it.
Okay, so we start off. The Klingons show up. We have no shields. I don't think. I think they go in. There's communication because the Klingons are attacking Cyrano Jones's ship. Then the Enterprise pulls up, starts saying, "You can't do that." Tisk tisk. Like I'm paraphrasing here, guys. And then the Klingons turn on the Enterprise. No. They keep going at Cyrano Jones's ship, and the Enterprise starts going at the with phasers and photon torpedoes. But they have a new Klingon weapon,
Oh.
which they were fearful of. Oh, you have, yeah. And so they have something that is like a power draining tractor beam kind of thing.
Yes, and meanwhile, Scotty is still working on the transporter. But you're right. The Klingon cruiser finally destroys the ship, and the Klingon ship is coming straight for the Enterprise. We get a red alert.
But the shields are up. They're beaming people. They have no power, but they have no power for like phasers and photon torpedoes, but they have power for the transporter. Then they blow up the ship. And then and it takes like a good 2 minutes. Like we have him in the buffer, but we can't reconstruct him.
Well, if you'll notice, they'll show him beaming aboard the form coming together. Then it cuts to the bridge and it shows Kirk saying, "I'm going to the transporter room." Then it shows Kirk enter the transporter room and the beaming is still going on. So that
Right.
beaming process took the whole time from Kirk getting to the bridge to the transporter room, at least.
Yeah. It's a long time to have, like, I understand, like, even last week when we watched Mudd's Women and the ship blew up and they beamed aboard Mudd's Women, the
At the
titular
last
women,
second, as usual.
at
right?
the last second after the thing blew up. But that
got-
was, like,
yeah, you
at the
gotta have
last second. It wasn't, like, 3 minutes later.
Right. Are you saying that Cyrano Jones's pattern would have been lost in
Yes.
all of this?
All of this, none of this would have happened. I think that this took too long to beam him aboard. And there are too many variables that are contradictory to the science that this is a plot moment. And fine, it's got Tribbles.
We
But
need to
this
do a
is.
video just on how many times they use the transporter as a cliffhanger, right? Where somebody's being
Yeah.
destroyed and somebody's beaming aboard and the ship blows up and did they make it? Did they make it? Did they make it? You know, like they do on Doomsday Machine, for example, right? They do it in the TOS all the time, and I'm sure they do it in the newer Star Treks.
I got to stop hanging out with Jill. She makes me hate transporters.
Yeah. I missed my chance to make my one comment I've been waiting for the last hour to make.
Well, go
Sorry.
for it. Go for it, Drilla.
Who was firing at the transport? Was it a bunch of stormtroopers? Do you see how many times we missed the damn transport?
But I was saying it was I was saying it's a larger shield diameter. I'm saying that it wasn't hitting. Yeah, were they missing the transport? Yes, but were they hitting the shields? Probably.
No, because you didn't see the shields like you see it when they're firing at the Enterprise.
But I forgave it because you didn't even see the impacts of the explosions around the ship anyway, much like you didn't see them when you were watching the original series. Remember when like the Enterprise just had like a flash glow and that was where they were supposed to have been hit? There was no shield glimmer with that, but I just assumed that it was hitting the shields. That's just my perception. Meanwhile, this guy's blowing a trumpet.
Yeah, this is the new.
A bunch of stormtroopers, though.
Yeah, no, I said that they were drinking blood wine, but Scotty says that there's a technical explanation of it regarding the distance from which they were firing and the shields.
Well, between the ship and the shields.
Okay, I'll buy that.
For $1?
50 cents.
Captain Time Lord in the chat says, transporters? Oh, You mean the
Consciousness
suicide
replicator?
booths and
Consciousness
consciousness
replicator.
replicators live long and prosper? Got
Oh,
it.
that's convenient.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Captain Time Lord. There are a lot of mm, fuzzy things happening with the transporter science.
Well, you've got to stretch your imagination. Wait till we
But
get to Lost
this
in
is one of
Space if
those.
we ever get there. Yeah, there's a lot of the sci-fi out there that plays a lot looser with the rules. So I
I
give them
think you
credit
could.
for trying.
I think you could have an entire conversation about how many times they beamed through shields after establishing that you cannot.
Oh
It's
yeah,
true.
yeah, definitely.
This energy field turns out to be a projected stasis field. It has taken out the engines, the matter, antimatter generators, weapons, and transporters, as we see, when Uhura makes the best comment here. She says, well, we could always throw rocks,
Yeah.
Hmm.
which is actually a great line that we'll come back to later.
Yeah. Here's a question: where the hell was this weapon during the Dominion War? They had 100 years to perfect it. This code came in useful during the Dominion War.
The
Well, this,
power drain was too much.
Yeah, but they
yes.
had 100 years to perfect it between now and the Dominion War.
I don't think that warp drive really
Mhm.
improved that much in the Klingon Empire. I would assume at the same time, but I don't think it's kind of like the Pegasus when it was like the multiphasic cloak. It's like
Hello,
we can work on
Nerporio.
it, but it's like the power drain is too much. Meanwhile, William Campbell playing Captain Koloth is voiced by James Doohan.
Yes.
That's right.
Hello, Nerporio Lifeform. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Ahoy, Nerdporio. I caught your 5 hour Zelda Ocarina of Time conclusion. Thank you for the ASMR.
So, because of the stasis field, the transporters aren't working. So, taking advantage of the energy field's effect on the Enterprise, Koloth from the Klingon ship tries to intimidate Kirk into handing over the pilot from the smaller ship because the pilot has caused ecological sabotage. However, Kirk recognizes the Cyrano Jones's ship as a Federation ship, so he's duty bound to protect it. And that's when Uhura has some useful information that the grain ships are not held by the stasis field. So they cut off communication with Kola, and Kirk says, bring them back, Mr. Sulu. Have them ram the Klingon ship. And Spock
Right,
says, Captain, you can't afford to lose that grain.
right. And to make it clear, they don't know it's Cyrano Jones yet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's true. Good point. Kirk says, I can afford even less to lose the Enterprise. And desperate to maintain control and not be rammed by grain ships, the Klingons try to trap the grain ships in the stasis field while maintaining the one on the Enterprise. And so they try to do that.
Then
So,
the Klingon ship tries for a three-way attack on both of the robot ships and the Enterprise, and it is too much for their engines and batteries.
yeah, so it fails. So they fail, and the Enterprise is free, rather, and they still have control of the robot ships. Still, the Klingons fire at the robot ship, but only damage it instead of destroying it. So Spock says, sensors indicate their power cells are almost exhausted. They probably don't have the strength for a prolonged battle now. Having saved the Enterprise, we see if Scotty can materialize the pilot from the pattern buffer, and he was able to. And it's Cyrano Jones, and he's got Tribbles with him. Tribbles! So we have Pink Tribbles and a reprisal of Cyrano Jones, played by the original actor, Stanley Adams. It turns out the Tribbles are pink because the colorist Irv Kaplan was fond of the color. And yeah. And David Gerald is just master of captain's logs, so I will be reading all of them for this episode. Except for one. Captain's log supplemental. Our rescue effort has given us some knowledge of the new Klingon weapon and the presence of Cyrano Jones, intergalactic traitor and general nuisance. And this transporter ensign here was actually modeled after David Gerald because he wanted to appear in the episode. And Cyrano Jones is claiming that his Tribbles are safe, both because they can't reproduce and because he now has a Tribble predator called a Glommer, who helped him clean up Deep Space K7. We also find out that the Klingons were attacking him for selling the Tribbles. But how does that work when we know Tribbles and Klingons hate each other, which they even mentioned in the episode?
That is
Also,
true.
can you just think about where Cyrano Jones is holding? Like that's a tribble eating cloaca that he has his hand over currently. Like, I don't know, is it licking his palm? What's going on? Are there teeth? What is up with this monstrosity?
Yeah, and I was wondering if
Don't pay attention to the things like on its body. Those are teeth above, and it has like eyeballs that do that. This is the freakiest thing I have ever seen.
maybe the teeth are a self-protective device. You know how some sea
Well,
animals will have, or like a porcupine.
we're gonna get there, but of course this was designed by those people.
And I was wondering if this would have been in TOS season 3, how they would have designed the Glommer, or would have been a different plot
They would have
entirely.
got Jim Henson or something. I don't know.
Oh, well, I don't know if he was around. Was Jim Henson around then? I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
But they don't show the creature actually eat the Tribble. This is Saturday
Well,
morning cartoon.
they
Before and
show it
after.
squat on it,
Yes, and then
Yeah,
which
And
is
then the
better,
swallowing.
I guess.
and they don't really show how the Klingons, genetically engineered this creature, nor how Cyrano Jones ended up on their planet and somehow stole it. I don't know
right, and Cyrano
how that
Jones. Thank
happened.
goodness he's wearing the same clothes. It makes him easier to recognize, right?
Yes, and his voice.
And
Anyway,
the
so this
voice.
thing is just weird. Can you take it off screen for a second? No, don't make it stretch.
I have
Oh,
to
come on,
say,
Scotty. You getting a little creeped out there or something?
I think
Getting
I think just like the Mud episode, the highlight of this one is just having the original voice of the antagonist back. I'm so glad
for
to have.
sure.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have Stanley Adams back. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. But what coincidence that they ran into Cyrano Jones again, as being the Enterprise, and it just happened to have more Tribbles, even though he had to spend so much time get rid of them from K7.
But he
Oh
had
man, it
help.
gets worse.
He explains that he did get some assistance. In fact, Kirk mentions that. He says you should still be over on Klein to clean up that mess on K7. And then he explains I'm
And
not pink
sorry.
Tribbles, everybody.
And I
So
do want to say, if you can go back to McCoy for a second. Okay, so this is again, this is an animation thing. This is what I'm sort of tickled by when I'm watching it. So during this moment, you have McCoy doing the medical tricorder to the Tribble, and it is essentially the sound of the medical tricorder, and DeForest Kelly does three.
and then it zooms in.
Yes.
Now they say it four times, but you can tell that two of them are the same. But it starts off with one, they repeat the second two, and the fourth one is and he's just like, huh. And it's just like, are you padding the episode? I think you're padding the episode.
Well, he's doing his examination on.
Okay, yeah,
Tribble.
no, I can imagine that this is the part where the children of the time went to go get more Captain Crunch.
There's okay. But also, one thing I forgot to mention over here is that Kirk also mentions all of the crimes that Cyrano Jones is in trouble for: 3 Federation mandates and 47 local ones. So
Yes.
just that.
And I was wondering if I could share a still from this episode, if I can,
Sure.
because I just got the still today. I'm sorry, Jill, I didn't get a chance
Yeah,
to
go
send it
ahead.
to you, but it is applicable. I'm just not. I think they've already shown the scene. I think that's why I'm going to show it now. I don't want to jump the gun. Hopefully, it's not a later scene, but I
Okay.
think this is an early scene on in the bridge when they're battling the Klingons. So I'm going to show everybody a still picture because this is something you don't see very often in Star Trek.
Yes, yes.
Let's see here. Can you guys see that?
Yes. Oh my God, that man has no ass.
Well, that's the left. You notice that's the extra turbo shaft on the bridge. Look at to the right of that is a view screen. This is what we never see on the TV on TOS.
No,
That's what I spotted.
I can only see the man whose back is disproportionate to the chair.
Hold on.
To the right of the view screen, I only see the left of the view screen currently.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's a man, and then to the right of him is the turbo shaft, and then to the right of that is the view screen.
Yes. Oh, right. That's completely
Yeah.
incorrect.
Yeah, Scotty, you
it's-
would know
it's
this
an
guy doesn't
additional
have
turbo.
an ass. That's the
Oh,
only
that's
thing.
an,
No, what I'm wondering is it a mistake or is an additional?
that's a
turbo shaft?
mistake because you can see the dedication plaque.
Okay, because I thought I've heard before that they may have an additional turbo shaft on the bridge, but I guess not. So that is definitely a mistake, right?
Yeah, I think that's a mistake. Good catch.
Okay.
That's
Sorry
a
about
great
that.
catch. No, but
Yeah.
these are the things that tickle me. These are great continuity errors, but they're animated, so I forgive them.
Okay, go ahead.
That
Jill.
man had no ass. That's fine.
There we go.
Meanwhile, Dr. McCoy finds an ineffective way to 5-pin bowl.
But they're still so they find out that Cyrano Jones wasn't lying. They don't reproduce. They just get that. But they're still worried about the Klingon weapon that immobilizes starships. That even though they're draining the power of the attacker, they're still worried because they don't know how long the Klingon ship will take to recharge. And it's an energy. Yeah, exactly.
Now, this is weird because they do tend to use the tractor beam as like coming out of the shuttle bay doors. And this is the worst way to store Quadrotriticale.
Or
Yeah, I think that's why they
Quintro Triticale.
I don't
Quintro
know.
in
They
this case.
mispronounce it all over the place.
Yeah, I think
It's
the
Quadrotriticale. That's how I always pronounced it.
Yeah, same here. Or maybe it's a different type of grain, but similar. Maybe that's why the name is just slightly different, right? There could be two different grains with slightly different names.
They certainly don't explain it.
No, they don't. But I think
Nor
the reason
does
why
it matter.
I think the reason why the tractor beam showed the ship pulled in by the hangar is so they could load those containers easier, possibly.
Oh, that makes sense. I'm good with that.
Yeah, but I could be wrong. They could have beamed them, but they probably not enough time for that. I don't know. Sorry.
Oh,
go ahead,
and
Jill.
also. Oh,
Yes.
wait, no, I was just going to support something that you previously said. If you thought that that was an additional turbo lift that was happening, see the green thing above the barrel?
Yes.
It's basically the dedication plaque, but in condition green. So that may not be a dedication plaque. That could be the yellow alert.
That's
I mean,
possible.
anyway, just pointing out where I could be incorrect.
I did think about that when I took the still. I was like, was that the dedication plaque? I wasn't sure, but the fact that that turbo shaft was in between.
But we got a green one
where
right
you
there.
guys saw
So
it. Yeah, there we have a. So that is an alert sign, right? So it's green alert right now.
just another asset that they decided to cut and paste.
You know.
It looks fine.
It's fine.
Meanwhile, Scotty has transferred all of the Quintro Triticale grain to the Enterprise, all over the ship, including the hangars, extra holds, and corridors. And already, the Tribbles, I guess they're already taking advantage of it. Yeah, look, they're already getting bigger somehow, even though the grain hasn't spilled yet.
Well, and when Cyrano Jones is beamed aboard, he basically says, like Kirk says to a lieutenant, it's like, seal off this area. And it's like, well, good work, buddy.
Yeah.
Someone didn't do their job.
Exactly. Why did you ask Boimler?
And so Scott says, we've got Tribbles on the ship, Quintro Triticale in the corridors, Klingons in the quadrant. It can ruin your whole day, sir.
I do enjoy the banter during this episode, though. It's great. And this is what it looks like for one of these little frickin' monsters to eat
Slummer.
a tribble.
Try
I said
to.
frickin'.
Well, yeah, this monster is a little too small to eat this Tribble.
Yeah,
No, I know.
I wanted to address, if I could, this this point by Nerdporial Lifeform. Nerdporial Lifeform, thank you. Who isn't voiced by James Doohan besides Harry Mudd outside of the crew and the female characters? I know we brushed on this topic, but we never explained in detail. I'm sure you guys may know this already. It's probably old news, but I want to reiterate the only reason why you hear mostly James Doohan or Majel Barrett or Nichelle Nichols doing the main voices is because of budget. That's the only reason why. And that's the only reason why Chekhov wasn't in the series. I know Captain brought that up. And Leonard Nimoy did try to bring him back. He wanted everybody back, but it was due to the lack of budget. So that's why they offered Walter Koenig the at least to be able to write a script. So it wasn't a choice by design. It was strictly budget. But I do, in my opinion, and I know you can tell that it's James Doohan's voice over and over and over. But I'm glad the fact that they took advantage of his ability to use different voices and accents. So it kind of helped. But that's an opinion.
I
But sorry,
agree.
go ahead.
I
Go ahead,
agree with
Jill.
that opinion.
We may continue.
And so the Klingons attack the robot ship, but only to destroy the propulsion units so the Enterprise cannot destroy it. Then the Klingons turn their fire to the Enterprise. Well, here they shoot the grain ship and they don't destroy it. They just keep it from being able to move. And then the Klingon ship heads to fire on the Enterprise. That shakes the ship, causing the grain to fall over and spill everywhere. They try the stasis beam. The Klingons do, but that does nothing.
Hello, JV. Welcome to the stream.
So they are trying that, but that doesn't do what they want. Oh, that's the end of this set of slides. I need to bring in my next one.
And JV, you said less than 10 people can be in a private server.
Oh no!
I'm not sure what you mean.
Red alert! I killed him. The bots in the chat.
Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
Oh, sure. Take all my fun away.
Well, you have it. You're a mod too. You can do it.
Yeah,
It's
but
all
that
about
means
who gets them first. Otherwise, they're going to keep adding more chats to the chat. Push
you know
our
what?
real chatters out of the way.
I'm gonna change my YouTube name to one of these just for the hell of it on some people's chat. On some people's
Those
just
pesky
mess with
bots.
people in chats.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that'll be a good way to get banned from channels. But anyway, the
Maybe I'll
triples
do
are
that
getting
for salty tonight.
the triples are getting fatter, and Spock. Remember? Oh wait, they're getting even fatter than that. They grow really, really quickly. It's incredible and unbelievable. I don't understand it. I thought they couldn't reproduce, and yet they're turning into colonies inside of them, which is kind of weird, and I don't get it.
Well, what I was wondering is, don't they starve to death eventually? Because they hadn't eaten until they got on the Enterprise. How long did they live without being fed? I wonder.
I don't know.
Or what were they feeding them
I don't know.
before? Who knows?
They don't say.
That would have been a good thing for Cyrano Jones to bring up. We've been feeding them this, or I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I want to know
But
the complete diet.
they were going after the Quadritriticale, so the Klingons knew they needed food for the Tribbles, right? Or they wanted the grain, not necessarily to feed the Tribbles.
Well, no, they just want the Glommer back so that they can destroy
That's
all
right,
the
the
Tribbles
Glommer.
that Cyrano brought to their planet.
True. So they just wanted the Glommer and the Quadritriticale. They didn't want Cyrano.
No, they don't want the grain. They just want the Glommer.
Okay, so, and this is what I meant, Nerdporial, by being developed by those people. Why in the name of sweet Georgia Brown would you have teeth on the top of your head unless you were designed by a Klingon? Like, that is an overly aggressive, bioengineered tribble predator. I'm glad they just ended up bombarding the tribble homeworld. Eventually, the Great War against the Tribbles, songs were sung.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Sorry,
the
I get
shot.
very tribbly. Come on, this is one of the few times that I get to celebrate Tribbles.
I love this shot of a photon torpedo in action, animated,
It
incredible.
it also feels like it takes a long time for the photon torpedo.
Yeah, and the Klingon ship is able to destroy the photon torpedo before it reaches the ship.
Yes.
And Spock has the idea to. I believe that he's remembering her thought earlier of throwing rocks when he says to throw tribbles at the Klingon ship.
Notice
Agreed.
this angle here where they show Spock from the rear as he speaks. That's one of the things that I wanted to bring up. Filmation, unfortunately, I watched a documentary on Filmation, and one of the standards they had would they would hide the actors' mouths, so they would show them speaking from behind, like here, or you'll see a few scenes where Kirk speaks but he'll put his hand up in front of his face as he's speaking, and the reason why they did that was to save the animators time on syncing them up with the voices of the actors.
That makes sense.
So that's the reason why, if you guys are wondering why they won't show the mouth as it's talking.
Well, that's why my favorite Filmation show is Spider-Man. Because he always wears a mask. They just had to animate his jaw moving.
Just the jaw moving, which, you know what, I sorely miss that in the live action movies. You can tell in the live action movies he's not talking at all, and they're just looping his voice over it. Even the big budget, the Sam Raimi ones, you can tell his jaw doesn't move at all, but you can hear him talking.
And you can hear all about it next week on Pop Culture
Right.
Curator's Spider-Man movie
Right.
podcast.
It was just a
With
little
great
nitpicking
power
thing.
comes great mask moving.
Well, the reason why they do it is because they're going to translate the movies into several languages, so they don't want the
Can
moving
you
of the
not-
chin.
Can you not focus on how terrifying it is? Is that this little how many legs does it have? It's
Four.
got antennae that
Four.
are all askew. It's got teeth up, and it is actively trying to use with its monstrous cloaca to eat this giant
A
tribble.
cloaca.
It is. It's a toothed cloaca.
Okay.
This is revolting. I can't understand how this was shown to children. Because if they were being creative biologically, it would be like, oh my god. This little creature probably made so many virgins.
Well, this glommer wants to glom, but he can't anymore.
Stop glomming.
See?
At this point, you kind of feel sorry for it, unfortunately.
Like a virgin. Tribbled for the very first time.
Isn't there a term like "stop glomming onto me"? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, totally.
I think that's how they came up with the name. And then we see this Tribble who loves the captain's chair. Kirk confronts. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say now Cyrano's on the bridge, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have another still I want to share really quick. See right there?
Yes.
I'm going to share it still real quick.
Cool. He's
Bear
trying to
with
sell
me here.
Kirk something.
Yes, he is. Let me open it up here. Give me just a second, guys. I didn't know we were going to get to the bridge scene with Cyrano Jones that fast, so it's going to take me a second. I'm opening it up. All right. there we
Well,
go.
these are only 20-minute episodes, so we'll get through.
You're right, pretty fast. I'm
Get
used to
through
those.
Yeah, it's almost
hour-long
over.
Yeah. Yeah, Spock
There we go.
already came up with the solution.
Yeah, just do the same thing that they were not going to. Oh yeah, no, do what Scotty did last time.
Because
Essentially,
because more transporter shenanigans. It's
Yeah.
another
Let me-
ship boat.
Can you guys
oh
see this?
no.
This is what we were talking about with animation cells. Animation cells are done in layers. So as you
Yes.
guys can see, the turbo shaft doors are off. You can even see the gap in the doors where they should be behind that bar where Cyrano Jones'
Oh,
leg
that's
is.
crazy. That looks like a software. That looks like a graphical glitch on something that was actually hand painted and approved.
Well, you can tell actually what they're doing. They use the same layers over and over, but they accidentally have it a little bit off.
But the turbo shaft doesn't even open from that side of the door. Like, why would you have that animated? I guess just to make it is that no, they would paint a different interior background. I don't understand this shot at all.
Well, I think you'll notice that they could have just painted a solid door, but it even has that gap there that should be hidden by that brace there where Cyrano Jones' leg is.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So it should be like just a little bit to the left, right?
I
So
guess.
oh, and another way, Gorilla, if you're out there and if you're listening, another way you can tell between film and video is film is so exact you can even see the specks in the film, the grain, and sometimes even bits of hair. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
now we're gonna go back to Jill. There you go, Jill. Thank you. And
Ba,
now the
ba,
door is
ba, ba,
back in
ba, ba, ba,
place.
ba. See, Jill got a better copy. No, I'm joking. Anyway, all of these giant pink tribbles. What is it with these? Oh,
Kirk confronts Cyrano Jones to query if these giant tribbles are why the Klingons are after him. But before he can answer, the Captain Koloth's ship returns. So they put up their deflectors and get their torpedoes ready. And speaking of Captain Koloth and his second in command, Korax, they're both voiced by, like we said earlier, James Doohan instead of William Campbell and Michael Pataki.
oh wow! You got Michael Pataki in there. Good for you, Jill. I'm always so impressed.
The Enterprise fires a torpedo at the Klingon ship, and so we should see another photon torpedo. Wow, what happened? Oh, there it is. Oh, right, that was a
That's not how you
That
spell
was a captain.
supplemental.
that was a that was a captain's log that I'm not going to read, the only one.
No, it's fine.
And so the Klingons use their special new weapon to stop the photon torpedo. And not only that, this time the Klingon weapon works. It grabs the Enterprise and also shakes the grain around some more. As if it
Meanwhile,
matters.
at the Riddler's lair. Sorry, he looks. I don't understand. You know what? There's something about. There's something about Koloth in this episode that I just don't accept.
The voice.
Well, no, not only the voice, but also like the look of the Klingon, sort of the purple. Anyway, it's not a serious episode. I shouldn't take it that seriously.
Yes, you should. Tell me
And we
more.
I don't know. And I shouldn't expect more from a 1973 cartoon. But no, I just think that Koloth, there's something about Koloth. And that's all it is. It's just a feeling. It's like when you hear a cover song and you're like, no, I don't like that one.
Yeah, because it's nice to bring back old characters, but when they're not voiced by the same person, it is a little off.
And
Yeah.
it is, and it's such fan service.
Yeah, I think they couldn't afford two in this one episode. I think is the problem. And maybe if there would have been Cyrano Jones, we may have gotten the original Koloth. You never know, right?
Well, and if I were Walter Koenig and you got Cyrano Jones and Koloth in the same episode, I would be like, hey, hang on a second. How much money do you actually have?
Does anybody out there, any trekkers? I'm not trying to insult anybody because I'm one of those.
I'm
Does anybody
insulted.
know if William Campbell has ever done conventions? Because I never saw him in any of the ones I went to.
I don't know.
Google
That
it.
would- I'm sure he. Would
I'm
have
not
been
sure.
great.
Well, I think that there was, and I have no facts to back this up, but there seems to be at least a couple of conventions where they did have Michael and Sarah, John Colicos, and
Yes.
William Campbell. I remember
William
hearing
Campbell
about
too,
that.
Okay.
Like they had the three classic Klingons, and I thought they went to a convention. I'm not sure, but I thought they did.
Well, I thought I heard that. Koloth,
Anyway, it doesn't matter because none of them are in this episode.
Does
It's
Koloth-
James Doohan.
I thought I heard that Koloth appeared in DS9. Is that true, you guys?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
season 2.
How'd they explain the time difference, or is he a different Klingon?
No, same Klingon, same trio of Klingons.
Same makeup.
Wait, that was season 2. I thought that was later on.
Season 2,
So he had the same makeup as TOS?
episode 23 or something like that. I think I don't know.
Wait, I think of the one where they went to get the bat lift.
Well,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
that's sort of K-less, but no, the one that is season 2 is the one I don't. Blood Oath. It's called Blood Oath, and it is when they go to avenge themselves against the albino. Is the villain that they go on a Klingon adventure, and it's Koloth, Kor, Kang, and Dax, and it's
But the-
great.
And all the Klingons are the original actors.
Yep,
Yes.
But what about Koloth's makeup? How'd they
great.
dress that?
Yeah, it's a great
Nope.
episode. I
They
agree.
Well,
do
yeah, but what does
anyway,
Koloth
but
look
that's
like?
not the episode that we're
No, but I'm
talking about
asking, what does
today.
Koloth's makeup look like?
Oh,
How do
crap.
they explain that? How do they
He
explain
looks like an
makeup?
old Klingon. He looks like an old Klingon. They don't explain it; they just do it.
Oh, so he has the makeup from TOS, and at the same time he'll stand next to the Klingon from DS9. Is that right?
Well, no, yeah, exactly. He does. We do not discuss it with outsiders, I suppose, is the best way that I can describe it.
Because I think the only time they didn't explain that until Discovery. Am I right?
No, they explained it in
No, they
Enterprise.
explain it in Enterprise. Yes.
Enterprise.
Before.
Okay, it was a genetic testing or something. Is that right?
Yeah, it was an augment infusion to make better Klingons, and they did. Some of them went crazy, and they needed a cure. And one of the side effects of the cure, as provided by Dr. Phlox, is that they are going to look like the human infusion of eugenic DNA that was, given to them.
Okay, so no, that makes a lot of sense. So the
That's a
Klingons-
ballpark. If I'm not completely accurate on that, I didn't expect a quiz.
Oh no, it's just that I had thought, man, I'm sorry that I'm not attuned with it. I had thought that Koloth generation had died off before the new generation, but I guess in that
No.
in that DS9 episode they coexisted. Those two different kinds.
No,
Klingons have a
Kling-
Klingons have a lengthy
Klingons are like
lifespan.
200 Yeah.
Well, I'm going to check out that episode. Thank you guys for bringing that to my attention. I'm going to check. it
But
out
yeah,
tonight.
they're the original actors with TNG makeup.
Okay,
And
no,
again,
that's
none of
great.
them are in this episode.
No,
No,
they're
they're
not.
great. The fact they got William Campbell in DS9,
You know what
I'm
they-
going to watch that episode. Yeah, thank you.
You know what they got though? They got this giant cotton candy tribble that apparently weighs as much as 7 beanbags.
I want some
Yeah.
cotton candy.
Yeah, apparently they're heavy. They're not light because Kirk has a struggle to get it out of his chair.
I know.
Well, at this point, it's so big; it's almost as big as he is. So he doesn't even bother pushing it off this time.
Oh, I
Like a
forgot.
big- like a
it
big
is
dog.
it is a running gag that he's pushing. I never, you know what? I am so slow and dim. I didn't realize it was the same tribble going back into the chair, but that makes more sense and it's actually cuter.
Right, they do have a few scenes that are kind of throwbacks to the original episode.
Yes, it's very funny and it's cute that he does that.
And
This
I
is
don't
the
want to spoil too
Tribbles
much,
chair.
but did we already show David Gerald in this episode?
Yes, we did. We showed him. He was right at the beginning when Cyrano Jones first arrived on the ship.
Okay, for anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, David Gerald, the writer, actually played a cameo in this episode as one of the Scotty's assistants in engineering. He was in a red shirt.
Yes,
He was-
They
he was in the-
animated him?
Yeah,
They
he was-
animated him. He applied to be in the original Tribbles, but they told him he was too skinny. So when you watch this episode, when they show him, it looks like a skinny guy in a baggy shirt.
Oh, you're right. It's a different slide.
I should have gotten a
Sorry.
still of that last night, and I
Well, I
don't know if
did.
can do
I
it.
did get it, and I showed it, but it was like
Oh, I'm
earlier in the stream.
I'm sorry, I should have pointed it out. Go ahead, Jill. Go
Well, I
ahead and
did.
continue.
No, I did point it out too.
Oh,
I
I
did.
stepped away to water my dogs. I missed it. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay,
No,
so
no, thank you for covering that. Thank you.
you're welcome. You just got lucky. So the Klingons are on their way to board the Enterprise. They're implementing boarding plan C.
And I
Looking
really
at-
appreciate that they maintain the character. That's a good likeness of the Enterprise would be towed away as garbage.
And
Like
it's
that
funny,
looks like that guy.
It
It
does. He
does.
looks all mad too, all pissed off because they've been working on trying to get this. They're running out of
So
patience.
Also, we have Koloth looking away so that they can save money on mouth animation.
Right, exactly. And what I thought was funny is the Klingon said Plan C, and then it cuts the Enterprise, and he says Plan B.
I thought that was kind of cute too.
Yeah, how many plans are these going through here?
Well, that one was the plan that Spock just invented.
Right, and apparently the Enterprise is one plan ahead of them.
See, this is what I mean about like Koloth and the Klingons. Like, what is with the purple? I don't like this contrast. I don't like the purple, the green, the pink. There's something about it. I want some grays
Well,
in
there's-
here.
Right,
If you're gonna use
Or
use
brown.
purple, just do a gray over the top, and then like I don't know, You can do brown on the wall if you want.
The director Hal Sutherland was colorblind, and also
That's not my problem.
no, I know, and creative decision along the line. Some of the they were given a directive to keep the colors like this light because it was a Saturday morning cartoon. That was the only time that was implemented towards the show, where they said it was
That's
a Saturday
true.
morning cartoon. They told them to lighten up on the colors is all, and I agree. It would have been nice if they'd have showed some brown and yellow, and but
Well,
the
even just
pink
having
is
some flat, yeah, like it.
yeah.
But I guess even with the colors, like you need. I don't know. I'm not an animator, although I do appreciate the multicolored Klingon insignia, or
Yeah. Yes.
like I like that as it was the original, and so I do appreciate that.
But I guess the coloring doesn't bother me that much because I want a pink Tribble.
Do they sell them?
Yeah, well, I've heard about your troll dolls.
Well, but anyway, the Enterprise.
But that's one of the things. I want the Tribbles to be like brown and black and gray. I want them to be a variety. I don't want them to be like a bunch. Like they all look like animal without a nose.
Okay, so I did buy my Tribble is brown, so that does show my preference.
Yes.
But I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind some variety. It would be great.
All right. Hey, I'm just saying. Like, yeah. Okay. Anyway,
The Enterprise transferred all the Tribbles to the Klingon ship, and so.
And these are giant Tribbles. These are.
They're giant. They're all the Klingons are horrified.
Mm-hmm. Clearly.
So my question is, how are they so easily able to beam from the Enterprise to the Klingon ship? Wouldn't the Klingon ship have defenses? Or is the power drain from their new weapon disabling those defenses and the shields?
Well, in a few minutes here, when they show Kirk say to Koloff, he said, we've done something. And Koloff said, other than a small transporter disruption or something. So Koloff does acknowledge that there was something happened with the transporter right before his men beamed aboard.
I missed that part. Thank you.
Yep,
they do say that. Is that the purpose of the transporter, like taking 2 minutes at the beginning of the episode, that Scotty actually figured out how to work the transporter during the power drain, or am I reading too much in?
I'm wondering if they have.
I think he started the transport before the power drain. And then when the power drain happened, it cut off the process of the transporting.
Okay. And I always thought that part of the reason why the delay in beaming them aboard, when there's an explosion, the same with Kirk on the Doomsday Machine, is because the atoms are blasted and maybe the transporter's trying to pull them back together. I don't know.
Either way,
if somebody is, it's exploded during the beaming process, or we're assuming that their body is totally beamed into the buffer before the explosion, and that we don't know, right?
Right.
They always make it look like a cliffhanger. They always make it look like, oh, it's too late, they're dead. Oh no, I got him just in time.
Well, in the instance of this one, I think that I think Scotty does actually say that it is a matter of resequencing, reconstructing, as he puts it. So I think that the pattern would be in the buffer, and they're just having power deficiencies to be able to rematerialize. That would be mine. You know what? I enjoy being the transporter pseudo expert. No one is one except for Michael Okuda and Rick Sternbach, I think. So.
And I only know from TOS, and I have another still I wanted to share, Jill, if possible.
Sure, go ahead.
From this scene, okay, and I'm ready this time. I can do it faster. They're showing Kirk having a discussion back and forth between him and Koloff is on the bird of prey.
Oh yeah, no, I saw this one too.
There we go. So it's like
that is awesome. I saw that and I wasn't sure. I figure you would. Good work. Good work.
What am I looking at?
That's amazing.
Here?
Koloff is on the bridge.
This is the best. This is an animation error. And that is why I enjoy this, because it flashes. It's almost like, it's just like, did I actually see that? I don't want to rewind. I don't want to
Right.
rewind because if it is what it is,
It's like a jewel. I would love, I know sometimes you could buy cells from this series or win them at contests or on bids and auctions. I would love to have this one cell here. It speaks to everything in volumes. It's like they say, warts and all. I love this show, but these little mistakes, oh, they're very endearing.
That's great. I missed this one because I was eating dinner while I was
That's
working on this.
okay, but yes, we
But
get to
that's so
see.
cool.
Kirk should say, "How'd you get here?" Right? It looks like he's standing right in front of Kirk, addressing him eye to eye.
he looks like he's sitting on the
Well,
con.
I mean, if they can transport Tribbles onto their ship, why can't
Yeah.
the
Why
Klingon
can't
transport?
Koloff just show up and yell?
Okay,
Oh,
I'll
and then say,
explain this here.
right. So he appeared and said, "Oh, sorry about that." And he beamed back to his ship again, real quick. Became here on the next frame.
Okay, I got a question though. Why did the Klingons just transport all the Tribbles into space? That's not. I
That's
could see the
yes.
Federation beam them onto the not going to kill a sentient life form, but the Klingons are not
But
above
the
that.
Klingons don't care. Yes, precisely. That is one of the things that I thought about.
And
I
how
agree
Yes,
with you.
this
and the
whole-
episode answers that.
How is this not an active war on both sides? Like,
I
why?
wondered where the Organians were. Yes.
No, that's not what I was asking. Screw the Organians. They're a bunch of assholes. I should actually do a stream on that. The Organians are a bunch of assholes. But
Well, do they mention the neutral zone in this episode? I don't know if they do. I don't think they mention
No.
the neutral
no,
zone.
they're in Federation space. But on both
Yeah.
sides, they've committed multiple acts of war. So how come a war hasn't broken out over this episode?
Because of Tribbles.
Because they got their Glommer back.
Well,
Yes.
I thought Klingons being in Federation space was automatically an act of war, isn't it?
Well, it was no, not necessarily, because there is the Organian peace treaty. The reason that the Klingons were in Federation space was due to Cyrano Jones going to a Klingon planet, selling them Tribbles for some unbeknownst reason, and then stealing the Tribble Predator. That
Yes.
monstrosity. So when
Gotcha.
Cyrano Jones left Klingon space, the Klingons were well within their rights to pursue that eco-terrorist.
I agree.
The Enterprise intervened. The Klingons were testing out a new weapon at the time, apparently, and they used it in an effort to reclaim their property, although they're not good negotiators. Suck it, Koloff. And then they said, just give us the weird predator thing that we've developed to eat Tribbles, and
Yes.
we'll be on our way. And Kirk says, okay. But they still have the weapon, right? And so Kirk, as a final FU, decides to beam over the giant Tribbles, which, you know what, by the way, in this episode, they never make the angry Tribble noise. Big, like I was waiting for it and it
You're
never
right.
happened.
Squeal.
That
I was
is a
upset.
Squeal.
Big slip up. I agree.
So anyway, once
you're
they
right, exactly.
once they beamed the Tribbles over to the Klingon ship, McCoy, that's when he finds out that they're big, but it's only because it's like a colony of Tribbles. So flash back to the engine room of the Klingon ship, which, by the way, I really enjoy the animated representation of the Klingon ship on this episode. I thought all of it was bonus. It was so good to see it. And anyway, he shoots it, Koloff, or no, he says, shoot that thing. And they shoot it, and a bunch of Tribbles explode out of it.
That's what Jill. I think Jill. Were you going to cover that where they say that?
Well,
part
no,
of the-
Scotty's doing a great job right now.
Right, but the
I was
reason
just
why it
following along.
exploded, and they're saying that part of that when they re-engineered them genetically, one of the side effects was they multiply with inside one big ball. So that's the reason why there's a whole bunch of them inside.
That's right.
Yep,
They
yep.
become a colony.
Colony. That's it.
They still have a fast metabolism, so they're growing really big. Well, and so they're growing really big, but inside of the one giant Tribble is just a bunch of little
Right.
Tribbles.
This kind of reminds me of when a spider has babies, when they show a whole bunch of them coming out when the egg opens.
Also, I like the attention to detail on those disruptors. That was good.
Mhm.
And so it explodes into a bunch of pom-poms.
Hence, more Tribbles, more troubles.
More Tribbles, more trouble.
But yeah, but back on the Glommer running away, the Tribble was obviously too big, so the Glommer runs away in a very cartoony way that I wasn't exactly expecting, because this is more like a Roadrunner than
Oh,
something I
I
expect to
know it.
own
I
in
was laughing and I
Star
was thinking
Trek.
that's cute. Right? That's funny.
I thought it
love
was cute. I thought it was cute, and I hate this
It
thing, but
is.
I thought it was cute.
That's what I'm saying because in this episode, in one episode, the Glommer went from "what is that" to sympathy. You felt sorry for her when it couldn't eat the Tribbles, and next thing you know, we're laughing at it like it's a comedy relief.
No, I think it's a monstrosity of genetic engineering. Anyway, the
And
purple people are stuck in the pink
They
people.
should have known.
yeah,
Oh
right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there we are. Go ahead, Jill.
McCoy gives the Tribbles left on the Enterprise a shot of neoethylene, which will break the colonies down into little Tribbles with slow metabolisms, so they will actually be safe Tribbles. If McCoy could do this all along, that presents the problem. If McCoy could do this now, why didn't he do this before?
He
Yeah, in
didn't
the
know
first
until
episode.
now.
I guess not.
That's
Also,
true.
He was busy going,
yeah.
So,
So of course we had to have a scene reprising Kirk looking up a Jeffrey's tube and getting pummeled. with
There we
Tribbles.
are.
I liked it. I thought that was cute.
And
And I
Scotty-
like this as well.
Me too. The punnery is wonderful.
hmm
If we've got to have Tribbles, it's best if all our Tribbles are little ones. Just replace Tribbles with Trouble to get the pun. And then Kirk gives his Spock eye.
He looks more like Sean Connery right there. It's crazy. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, ba, ba. I give this episode a B plus.
Wow, I gave it a B.
I give it a B too as well. How about you, Gorilla?
Oh, come on. I have to be the Lone Star out here and give it an A plus just because it was Tribbles? Come on,
That's
man.
fair. I know. I love Tribbles. I give Tribbles themselves an A plus.
I'll
And
give it
once
an A minus if you need me to talk. If you need to talk me into it, you know what? With the with Cyrano Jones, like as the original voice actor there.
True.
There's Klingon action. There's some things with the transporters and the shields that don't make sense. But what else is new?
And I laughed about 5 times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'll give it an A minus. I even liked that little weird crab with teeth on its head, like running away at the end. It was goofy and kind of cute.
And
I
come
like
on,
so-
like, this is like the one episode of the whole series that I was looking forward to.
All right,
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I'll upgrade mine to a B plus too.
I'm
I'll
going
do
A
it.
minus.
I'm
Have
gonna-
you mean an A minus?
I'm gonna upgrade mine. Too.
Fine, I'll give it an A. Stop yelling at me.
And especially the fact that it introduced a new ship
Mhm.
and all that. Yeah. I
Oh
love-
yeah, the
and-
ship design on that was great.
Right, and DC Fontana is the script editor on this one. Absolutely.
On every episode, she is.
On every episode, yes.
She's a story editor. She's basically showrunner.
Oh, you and I are going to have a talk about DC Fontana for a moment.
Yeah. I
Not
changed
right
everybody's
now,
mind.
but soon.
Yeah, I changed everybody's mind.
Thank you, Gorilla. We appreciate that. And you know what? I promise.
Gorilla,
everybody-
thank you. Thank you for bringing joy into my cynical life.
And I promise, absolutely, I will make it a point of next time. I will put a poll in the chat like Jill does with her stream. For those of you in the chat who are still with us, if you'd like to give us a rating, A through F, I guess, what you think of this episode, that would be appreciated. Next week, I will have an actual poll in the chat.
Be prepared to be yelled at by Gorilla if you don't give it anything better than a B.
Oh, what's next week's episode?
Next week's episode is The Survivor.
Oh, that
I'll
damn
queue it up.
episode. If anybody gives that other than an F, I'll be yelling.
I don't remember
Oh,
it, so I'll
okay.
have to wait.
And
I
I'll
haven't
just-
even seen that one.
And what's funny is I don't remember either. The name I remember, but I have to watch the episode or two. That's been that long, which I really enjoy for that reason. And if there's any comments anybody in the chat would like to make too, I know that we're at the end of the episode. If there's anything you'd like to say, or anybody else on the panel regarding this episode,
And meanwhile, I'll queue up the trailer for next week.
thank you so much for that, Jill. And
You
how
know
about
what?
yes, sir?
Well,
I am so fearful of the time that, like, hopefully, I get to be here when Jill says, and that's it.
And yeah,
There's
so there's
nothing next week.
Oh, I'm gonna be so sad when we're out of this. I love this
I
show so
am
much.
too.
I know, and Jill has the TOS, so I'm jealous. I can't do that. So we'll work on what we'll do next after I finish with my TS reviews.
We're gonna
And
have to watch Max Headroom.
well, Jill and I have been kind of knocking around a few ideas, and we will throw our ideas towards your guys' way, towards you, the panel in the chat, and we'll kind of vote on it. Let you guys choose on what you might want to see.
Well,
And
speaking of Star Trek, if you like Scott Bakula, this Thursday we're going to be talking about Quantum Leap.
yes.
well, and you guys are going to be covering Enterprise, so I'm not going to do that. And I know
No.
DS9 is already being covered by Klobby's channel, or already was covered. Or
Well,
We're not
DS9. We're
we're
not
not
covering
actually-
Enterprise.
We're not actually covering all of Enterprise at the moment. We might in the future, but it was just a way to talk about Scott Bakula on Star Trek Day and still have
Okay.
an actual, because we couldn't talk about Quantum Leap on Star Trek Day.
okay,
True.
yeah, I saw that you had a stream, but I know I saw that it was regarding
Mhm.
DS9. That's the only reason why I wasn't there. I don't have much input when it comes to DS9, so that's the only reason why I wasn't there. I apologize for missing it.
Well, it was an Enterprise stream. We didn't
Oh.
have a Deep Space Nine stream.
Either way, this Thursday
way,
we're
I
going to be
didn't- well,
doing Quantum Leap.
I got the names mixed up. I meant Enterprise. Either way, I don't know either one of those shows. So that's the only
Yeah.
reason why. If I don't have anything to bring, I probably. That's the only
That's
reason why I
fair.
wasn't there, Jill. So I apologize.
No, that's okay. That's totally fine.
Son of a Red Shirt says this. Are we supposed to be rating you guys in today's episode or the episode you just reviewed? How about
The episode.
we
The
were
episode.
asking about the episode, but if you got any complaints or compliments to throw our way, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, if I were to rate myself on an alphabetic scale, I would rate myself a Q.
Yeah, you sure.
And me, there's no way I'm going to give myself an A because I can't do this stream alone. I'm just only a piece of the puzzle, so I'm not going to take credit like
I'll
that.
give myself the same rating I gave the episode.
A B. Well, I'll give Jill an A because
I'll give
she's
myself a
so
D.
knowledgeable, and Jill does all the work of having all the stills ready. So that means a lot to me. I appreciate that, Jill.
Thank you. But I can't give myself an A because I had the wrong mic set up.
Oh, no, that's true. Technical difficulties. You're right. You're a B. Okay.
We can't be blamed for technical difficulties. Just like if somebody gets bumped off their internet, you can't blame them for that.
You know what? I never argue with her logic. Like when she gives herself a rating, don't try and talk her up. She's decided.
Okay, well, she knows what she's doing, so I'm not going to argue with her.
Exactly.
Jill, would you like to plug your channel before we show the trailer?
Oh, sure. Yes. I have a channel, Antiderivative Jill, where I'll be reviewing TOS tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. Actually, no, at noon. Noon Central. And
Noon
we're
Central
going
tomorrow,
to,
everyone.
Yeah, we're going to review The Enemy Within, which is really great because my last Friday show, we talked all about transporter accidents and magic and stuff.
Oh,
So
I missed that.
this-
Okay.
yeah, so this episode also has to do with the transporter, and so it's going to be super fun. Except it's splitting instead of combining.
Yes. And we're
And-
introduced to the Vulcan nerve pinch.
And
I
like
guess no spoilers there, right?
right. And like Scotty said, on Thursday we're going to continue our Quantum Leap series on the Phantasmagorium channel. But that's
Mhm.
that's and then
And-
maybe I'll
and
do
then
something
we-
like-
Yeah,
ahead.
there might be a Plomic tea.
we haven't talked about what that's about yet.
No, we haven't. I don't
and
know.
Scotty, how about your channel? Would you like to share that with us?
Oh, my stars. Wednesday, we're going to be talking about Django Unchained on Bullets, Blades, and Babes. We're doing a Quentin Tarantino retrospective, and it's going to be me and Catherine and I think Steve. And we're going to hang out and talk about the, seventh movie by Quentin Tarantino? Sixth? I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, no, it's written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, and it's starring Jamie Foxx and Christoph Waltz. And yeah, it was one of my favorite things, so I can't wait to talk about it.
Well, it
Very
can't be
cool.
the 7th because wasn't the Hateful Eight the 8th one?
I don't know the numbering. Come on.
I don't know the numbering either. I
So
didn't
then
know
this would be the 9th one.
Well, I can look
Okay.
it up if you want, but
I'm just
I don't
guessing.
think it's pertinent
I,
to the conversation now. I am a
no,
casual
but
fan of Quentin Tarantino. I don't know the numbering of all the films, but we are going to be discussing Django Unchained, whichever number in the oeuvre. Like, don't forget in the show that we've done so far, we've done True Romance, not directed by Quentin Tarantino. We've done Destiny Turns on the Radio. I
nope,
apologize.
that was not
Uh,
done by Tarantino at all.
no.
Neither directed nor written.
And we're looking down the barrel of some more of those as well. We're going to be doing Natural Born Killers. We're going to do Desperado to finish off the whole thing. So no, it is a Quentin Tarantino retrospective in terms of his influence. There was a point where we were going to watch Little Nicky because Quentin Tarantino was in it for a
He shows
cameo.
up.
And so, yeah, no, it's a fun romp through Quentin Tarantino because I think that Quentin Tarantino deserves a fun romp. So I don't know the numbering because we've been watching things that don't even qualify as Quentin Tarantino movies.
That's true. That makes sense.
And
Anyway, that was a
Gorilla,
long
It'll be
story.
fun. And I'll be in the chat. I'll be in the chat during that show.
Yay!
very cool. And Gorilla, is there anything you'd like to share with us about your channel?
Well, just my usual watch parties on Wednesday where we do Beyond Belief. On Saturday we do Babylon 5. Then the Sunday I think we're going to do A Time to Kill. Then on Thursday I'm defending the movie Planet of the Vampire Women. Then I
Can't
might do a,
vampire women take care of themselves?
That sounds like highbrow entertainment.
yeah, I might do another stream between now and then. I don't know yet.
Very
Nice.
cool. Well, I will be there. I'll check my alert. I think it's called alert bell or whatever. And I recommend everybody else out there in the chat. By the way, if you liked what you saw today, please subscribe to my channel. Check out. I have other streams that we've recorded in the past, plus some other videos. Click the alert button so you know you're notified next time we have another video. And I
Oh, and
wanted
if you want to get caught up on the rest of the Star Trek animated series, we're on episode 5 now.
5, yes.
And
Yes.
this has been in some in-depth Star Trek stuff. So if you enjoy this, like as a Star Trek fan, the only reason I'm here is first things first, pop culture curator lets me. Second thing second is that I kind of like Star Trek, and that's why he let see rule 1. So yeah, this is a great conversation, and we do this for every episode. We've done yesteryear, which was like brilliant. Even last week's episode, like with the Lorelei signal, it's just like brand new Trek that I haven't been exposed to. Makes me happy.
Me too.
And me,
I like
I haven't
seeing
seen
you
it.
experience it for the first time too.
Same here, and for me, I haven't seen it in such a long time. It's almost like having a new experience all over. There's just like this episode. There's certain things I noticed that I had not noticed before. So I could never ever grow tired of watching this.
Me too.
And I
And-
wanted to go ahead, Jill.
Oh, I just wanted to say, Son of a Red Shirt says in the chat at 9:17 Central. He says he gives this episode an A for both today's episode as well as more Tribbles, more troubles. Thank you.
Thank you, son of a red shirt. That's very kind, sir. And thank you for joining us. I do want to. I'm going to try to thank everybody who came along and stopped by. So in the chat for everybody who came by, I'd like to thank Son of a Red Shirt, and I know Edge of Time was here. Captain Time
of
Lord
Time.
Spock, hail! Thank you for being here,
Yeah.
Captain. I will try to catch your next stream, Captain, if I have my hours synchronized correctly, or if I happen to wake up in the middle of the night.
Did
And I go ahead, Jill.
Did you say the Nerdporial life form?
Nerdatorial Life Form was here.
Yeah, he was here.
There was yes.
He was. Yeah, he was here in the chat. It's great.
Sorry, I was reading them from the top in order they were arrived, and I haven't gotten
And-
that far. But I Love Food was also here.
I Love
Oh,
Food was here,
nice.
but also with Nerdporial Lifeform. If you're a fan of Ocarina of Time, the Legend of Zelda game for the Nintendo 64, I would highly recommend checking out his retrospective. And it was awesome. When I called it an ASMR, I did not mean that derogatorily. I thought it was one of the most soothing things. It is a love letter to a game that a dude obviously loves. And I apologize if I'm assuming your gender. But I just think that it was great. That game was given to me by a girlfriend who broke up with, like, my birthday, and then she broke up with me, but she gave me the Ocarina of Time as a gift. And so she broke up with me, but at least she gave me something to do after I broke up. And so I was rescuing Zelda from, and it helped me completely. So, that
Whatever it takes.
it has a special place in my heart. And I think that his retrospective is fantastic.
Yes.
That's great.
Thank you.
And upcoming pretty soon, his the Nerdpora Lifeform is also going to be doing a similar retrospective for the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, which is
Absolutely. I'm
great.
excited for that. Yes, I'm going to be there for that. I love Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
And yes, and Nude Pro Life Form. Thank you, yes, for joining us. And I know JV, there's a user JV that was here. I don't know if JV, if you're still here or not, but thank you for joining us. And you're welcome to my stream at any time.
Yeah. Also, congratulations, Pop Culture, there on your first 1.6 thousand view video.
Thanks to you, sir. Thanks to you. I appreciate it. That means a lot to me, everybody. He helped me post a short. I hadn't posted any shorts to my channel. And then Gorilla and I last night, he walked me through the process. I posted my first short of my poodles, and I can't believe I got over 1.6 thousand views since
Congrats.
last night. And I'm overwhelmed. So thank you, Gorilla.
That's
My
great.
I looked at my analytics and they were like all through the roof. It's like 100,000% improvement or something like that. And thanks to all of you on the panel. My subscriber base has been growing. I'm not in any hurry, and it's not skyrocketing, but it's moving along at a really healthy pace. So I know I could not do that without any of you.
Well, you're the one who has the clubhouse, sir.
Well, I promise it's going to get better. We're going to finish Star Trek, and we're going to have something new and exciting coming up to follow up after this. I promise.
Yeah,
I
and
look forward.
Their next reviews will be of Star Trek Discovery.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, Star
right.
Trek Discovery in depth, right? No,
in the alternate universe.
yeah, we're just kidding, everybody.
Mirror
Yeah,
pop culture.
right.
Creator.
No, I don't
But-
think I won't be covering Discovery anytime soon.
But whenever you're ready, I have the animated series episode promo for the Survivor ready to go.
All right, thank you. I think we've covered everything. I said hello and thank you to everybody on the panel, and I think I hopefully covered everybody that was in the chat. Once again, if you enjoyed the stream, everybody, please tune in next Monday for the next episode. And to see us out, Jill's going to be showing the preview for next week's GAS episode. Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Take care and peace out.
Have a great night. And also, after this, if you want something to listen to, Clobburn Times is doing a stream, Mark C Comics. So go check that out if you like.
Very cool. Mark C, like a Mark C with a.
No. This is a friend who loved comics a lot and passed away, and the name of the show is named after him.
Oh, okay. All right. Give him my best. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Jill.
Enterprise has changed course to assist a one-man vessel. Captain's log, stardate 5143.3. The Enterprise.
I don't know if my internet is having
Is
issues.
that something I'm doing wrong?
No, it's me. My internet doesn't like this
That's okay.
video.
Enterprise has
Spoilers.
changed course to assist a one-man vessel. Sensors indicate the occupant is still alive. Carter Winston. It seems you gentlemen know me. There are few in the Federation who wouldn't recognize your face, sir. It's over between us, Dad. I'm sorry, I can't explain why, but I can't marry you. Mr. Sulu, lay in a direct course for Radar 3. Through the Romulan neutral zone, sir. That was the order, helmsman.
Beautiful.
I am
can't wait.
terrified of this episode. I am terrified of
Ah.
this episode.
Space action. I love it. Thank you, everybody. Peace and take care.
Bye.